Hello again, it's AZC2. Today I'm going to talk about the recent promotion of Nottingham Forest back to the Premier League after 23 years out of the top flight. I last saw Nottingham Forest playing in the English Premiership back in 1999, where they were relegated alongside Blackburn and Charlton. After that, they were never seen again until the recently finished 2021-22 season, where they got promoted back to the Premiership after beating Huddersfield Town in the playoff finals. But before that, they had to get past Sheffield United, who had two separate 12-year spells outside the top flight. Nottingham Forest's wait for 23 years is the longest to get back to the Premiership, but still pales in comparison to Blackburn having to wait 26 years to return to the old First Division back in the 70s. The English Premiership, after all, was only set up 30 years ago. Previously, it was called the First Division. And Liverpool have the most number of First Division titles, and they only won the Premiership one time, which was in 2019. But they have been long-time members of the top flight alongside Manchester United, Arsenal, Everton and Spurs. Chelsea too. And by the way, Roman Abramovich has divested all his interest in Chelsea, and the club can now move forward. So yes, Nottingham Forest won the European Cup in 1978. Back then, when they were still in the old First Division. They have been members of the Football League since the league itself was established. In a way, we can say they have a rich history, even though they've only played 5 seasons in the Premiership since 1992. Well, football wasn't invented in 1992, obviously. But yeah, since the start of the Premiership, they've only been in the top flight for 5 seasons. Brian Clough is a legend at the City Ground, because he was the one who guided them to the European Cup in 1978. Forest's best ever finish in the Premiership was in 1995, when they finished 3rd place with Stuart "Psycho" Pearce as their captain and free kick specialist. "1997 saw their decline, but they were relegated. But they were promoted back after 1 season in the old First Division before they got rebranded as a Championship, only to go back to the 2nd tier in 1999 and were never seen again until 23 years later. This story has a common thread with Leeds United, who were relegated from the Premiership in 2004 and only returned in 2020, which was 16 years later. Leeds had been doing well under David O'Leary, but the club ran out of money and may not even have been relegated had Roman Abramovich chosen to buy Leeds instead of Chelsea. 16-year wait is the second longest to get back to the Premiership. It would be nice to watch Leeds and Forest playing together next season. It's bound to be some exciting encounters between them. And Forest also have quite a strong rivalry with Leicester City because of the two clubs' close proximity in the East Midlands. Leicester themselves had to wait like exactly a decade before they returned to the Premiership. They were relegated at the same time as Leeds United in 2004, but got back in 2014. And within 2 years, Leicester City were crowned champions. Now, that's quite a fairy tale and an achievement. Leicester versus Forest is also another encounter to watch next season. And of course, the people are starting to take bets as to whether Fulham will be the first one down next season, considering that Fulham and Norwich have been involved in some sort of tag team activity in recent seasons. Like, one team goes up and the other goes down, or vice versa. It's become something of a running gag in the last couple of years. And Fulham will be playing together with Brentford in the top flight. Brentford and Fulham are located 4 miles apart up the River Thames. Like, if you follow the river away from Craven Cottage in the direction of Oxford, you will arrive at Brentford. And Brentford's promotion will make them the 50th team in the Premier League. The last time Brentford played top flight football was after the Second World War, and they were never seen again for 70 years. In the meantime, the first division got renamed Premiership, and so forth. And the return of Bournemouth as runner-ups could see some sparks fly between them and Southampton, given that both teams are from the south coast, where there are very few good clubs around. I mean, we all remember Portsmouth and what happened to them, you know, in 2010. Like, well, they had a good run while it lasted, but they ran into money problems and got points deducted and were stuck in the bottom of the table for the whole season. And it was bye-bye. They've dropped down to the 3rd tier, which is now called League One. But they haven't been doing that badly. They've always, you know, been in the top 6 positions, although they have never had luck in the playoffs to get promoted back to the Championship. On the whole, I'm looking forward to seeing Fulham, Brentford and Nottingham Forest in the top flight as of next season. It was sad to see Burnley get relegated, you know. Hopefully they'll be back. But they've lost several of their key players, including Captain Ben Mee. After they parted company with Sean Dyche, who guided them up from the championship 6 years ago, they haven't had a permanent manager. Hopefully they get a permanent a permanent manager of high caliber, someone like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for instance. I'm sure Solskjaer, if given the job at Turf Moor, will guide them back to the Premiership as champions. And Sheffield United, well, hopefully they can come back next season after their playoff defeat at the hands of Nottingham Forest. I mean, they had a good first season back under Chris Wilder. 9th place. The highest ever finish they had since the Premiership was created. And Norwich City, well, let's see if they can bounce back after just one season down, like they've always done. And of course, Luton Town, if they get promoted next season, they'll be the number 51 in the Premier League. Luton Town played in the top flight in 1991-92 season. They resigned from the Football League, thinking that they were going to become a Premier League member the next season, but they got relegated. If they had been promoted at the end of excuse me, at the end of last season, then they definitely would have been number 51, following Brentford. But Luton's dream remains unfulfilled after 3 decades. Hopefully they get their wish next season. Next EPL season will also be unique in the sense that they have an international break for the World Cup in Qatar to be played. This year's World Cup will not be held in summer because Qatar in summer can be unbearable for people to play sport. So the World Cup has been held back till November because it's cooler. Nevertheless, I look forward to another 9 months of football to watch. Until then, have a pleasant afternoon. Goodbye.